Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. This is my post-market wrap-up on this Friday. A lovely Friday. Seriously, we're gonna a lot to talk about here, and I hope I don't blow my stack off. I'm gonna say that right now. So yeah, Friday, August 28th, 2020. So what's the story? I almost don't know where to begin. I guess we'll start off with the stock market. New record highs for the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. The Dow Jones Industrial Average and the Russell 2000 are still laggards here, but I would expect new record highs in short order. But we'll talk more about that in just a moment. The reason why I'm kind of like a little zany right now and I'm worried that I'm going to blow my stack off, just about 40 minutes ago, 40 freaking minutes ago, we had Fed President James Bullard on CNBC Live. He was conversing with the very nice man, Steve Leisman. Let me explain to you something about Steve Leisman in case you don't know already, and I think most of you do. With regard to the Federal Reserve, Steve Leisman has his face so far up the rear end of the Federal Reserve that they have merged into one. They have become one. I think sincerely when Steve there gets a chance to interview a Fed president, he probably has to put on some kind of a device so he doesn't spray his shorts on the camera. It's out of control. So anyway, what am I getting at here? So this man, St. Louis Fed President James Bullard, said on live TV that the recession is over. The recession is over. Now, this can be taken several different ways. Does he mean that the recession is over and now we are in a depression? Because that's really the truth. Or does he mean the recession is over for the stock market, which is at new record highs? Because let's put this into perspective. We have tens of millions of people out of work here in the United States. 50% of small businesses are gone forever. They are not coming back. That says a lot to me. We have 41 million Americans right now fearful that they're going to be evicted. They cannot pay their bills. That's very sad to me. But according to, gets better than that. Not just Fed President James Bullard, but Larry Kudlow today also said very similar words here. We're out of recession. Do you buy that? Let's move a little further here. We understand, and this is no secret, our trade deficit and our fiscal deficits are exploding. I mean, exploding like we have never seen before in the history of our country. As a matter of fact, it gets better than that. Today, we just found out that the U.S. trade deficit skyrocketed almost another 12%. I think it was 11.9%, 11.7%. Now, I want you to keep this in mind as well. And I'm not putting down the beautiful president, okay? It's beautiful. Our beautiful president said that tariffs, especially those that are on China, would narrow. It would help with the trade deficit. Actually, the polar opposite of that has occurred, and it's been going on. It's not just because of COVID-19. It's exploding. So, I mean, look, here's the deal. Anybody, and I mean anybody, who has an understanding of how tariffs work, that would be me, explain to you that this would never happen. I told you this would never happen and that these deficits would continue to explode. But no, of course, I got beat up. No, President Trump is smarter than you. He went to Wharton Business School, so he knows more than you, Greg. Duh, and duh. I guess not in this case, huh? It doesn't seem so. Anyway, so according to Fed President, what the hell's his name? Bullard and Larry Kudlow, recession is over. I really think they're joking with us. In other words, yeah, recession is over. We're in depression. We just got the largest drop with regard to GDP in history. Yeah, that can be blamed on this coronavirus fake scamdemic that we are in here. But our economy we're dead. We have nothing going on here. And with regard to layoffs, more layoffs industry-wide are about to hit. Let's talk about that real quick. The airline industry, who already got one bailout, just yesterday is threatening if they don't get another bailout, they're going to lay off tens of thousands of more people. Does that sound like extortion to you? Are the American people being extorted here by the airline industry? How are people tolerating this? You know what? Because they don't say anything. They sit there and they expect the president to do something, Congress to do something. So you have to understand, the president and Congress, they do not work for you. The Democratic Party does not work for you. The Republican Party does not work for you. They work for Wall Street. Let's talk about Wall Street real quick. Okay, new record highs for the stock market with an economy in collapse. We understand that. The Wall Street executives are expecting record high bonuses this year. Meanwhile, the American people here could not be worse off. We're literally in a depression. You have to understand that, and I think you do. With trade deficits and fiscal deficits literally at nightmare proportions. Does that sound familiar to you? Well, it should. Anyway, so the takeaway here is very simple. The disconnect between what's happening here on Main Street and Wall Street will continue to get worse, all right, as that two-tier society is manifesting itself here. And I really don't feel like that's fair to a large degree, because this is engineered. This is being done by design. The entire scamdemic has been done by design. Kill the economy, make people suffer on a scale of that they have not seen in their entire lifetime. But meanwhile, Wall Street, the corporations, the Wall Street banks will reap windfall profits. Does that sound normal to you? Is this how you want to live your life? Is this how you want your children to live their life? If that's so, then just continue with the status quo. Then obviously you should just be thrilled and happy, and I guess hope everything is going to change, although it won't. It's going to get much worse for you no matter what freak is sitting in the White House. Just happens to be one with a very strange complexion. If it happens to be someone else, let's say in a few months from now, it won't change either. I hope you understand that. All right, let's go back to these markets real quick. New record highs, like I explained to you. The dollar got decimated. The dollar is going to continue to get decimated. Now let me go back to the thing or the freak from the Federal Reserve, James Bullard. I want you to pay attention to what I'm about to say, because these are his words. He said, the Federal Reserve can tolerate higher inflation for a long period of time. The Federal Reserve can tolerate higher inflation for a long period of time. What's missing from that statement? And why didn't Steve Leisman follow that up? See, what I would have said was, okay, so the Federal Reserve can tolerate higher inflation for a prolonged period of time. How are the American people going to deal with it, those that are already suffering? Are they going to be happy with higher inflation, Fed President Bullard? You see, Steve can't do that. And he also didn't follow up the comment about the recession is over. Why? Why do you think that happened or did not happen? Steve Leisman, maybe you? Because I think you watch my blog. Because we know a lot of the same people, Steve. Maybe they should turn you on to this and get your face maybe sucked out of the rear end of the Federal Reserve. But I know how much you want to climb in there. It's not just your face you want in there. You want your whole body in there. You really want to get in there deep, and I mean deep. I got it. I know that. But to me, it's revolting and it's disgusting. Let's cover a few more things here. Cryptocurrencies got bit higher today. Gold and silver got bit higher today. I explained to you the dollar got decimated, which it hasn't even started yet. PIMCO, the largest bond fund on earth, put out a report today explaining that the US dollar free fall is just starting. You see, PIMCO, the largest bond fund on earth, they're a little behind the curve too, because I've been explaining this to you for a very, very long time. You understand? I think you do. Okay. So, understanding the environment we are in, that we have the Federal Reserve that's going to inflate, they can tolerate, the Fed can tolerate inflation here a lot for a long period of time. What does this mean to you? It means you should be hoarding these things. And I continue to get bombarded with people saying to me, Greg, gold is at $2,000 an ounce. Should I be buying it here? Seems a little expensive to me. People, look, how do I say this another way that people will get? They're going much, much higher. Gold is going much higher. Silver is going much higher and is going to outperform gold. There's no doubt about it. Cryptocurrencies are going much higher and the stock market is going much higher too. Let me talk about that real quick. So we heard from Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett, no one can say that the man doesn't know what he's doing with regard to investments. But he did say this. He said the stock market, quote, is overdue for a major correction. I think he actually said crash. Okay. Now, is he right? Is this market due or overdue for a crash or a correction? Absolutely it is. The market has gotten absolutely stupid. And not one of you that follow this blog is surprised about it. I've explained this to you for I don't know how long, that this market was going to go higher and higher and higher, while a lot of other guys out here, a lot of guys on YouTube blogs and whoever they think they are is telling you to short this market, and they caused a lot of people a lot of harm. I have done my utmost best to keep you on the right side of this market. My free newsletter, I've put out about 50 trades, 50 since March. 2 of them, as of today, I have closed with losses. That record is frankly phenomenal, and I'm not tooting my own horn for those of you that get all upset and says, oh, Greg thinks he's so great. I'm doing this for you guys for free. I post everything for free for all of you. You couldn't pay a hedge fund for this kind of information, but I'm offering it to you for free. Again, my newsletter, there is a link down here. Right now, I do not have one position open. I sold those 2 positions today, Cisco and Gilead, with losses. My only 2 losses to date since I started that newsletter back in March. Okay, I'm not complaining. I've ripped the face off this market so completely and utterly. As a matter of fact, to be frank, I've completely doubled my trading portfolio year to date. I've doubled my trading portfolio year to date. That is pretty amazing. And again, for those of you who are following my work, you've done phenomenal as well. Even if you've gotten all the trades except for the last 2, you did really well. Anyway, so going back to the markets here and the fact that I'm out right now completely, and I will let you know on Monday or Tuesday if I decide to get back in, the market is beyond stupid. With the promise of easy money, just yesterday from the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve talking about suppressed rates indefinitely. The Federal Reserve talking about possibly sending direct payments to corporations that have been affected by COVID-19. The same corporations who have been buying back shares of their own stock now for over an entire decade. You understand? And of course, like I said, the Fed's buying their debt. We all know that. Meanwhile, 50% of small businesses here in the United States are gone, with tens upon tens of millions of people out of work and a lot more coming. I sincerely believe that we are going to see waves of more firings and layoffs in short order. And as the airline industry says, if they don't get a second bailout, they're going to lay off tens of thousands more. The banks The banks more or less promised that they would not lay people off because of COVID-19. Well, guess what just came to light? The banks are now saying, hold on a moment. We may have to lay some people off. But let me ask you, since I know how smart you are, and I mean that as the truth, who do you think is going to get laid off? Would it be management positions that are now counting on record high bonuses as the stock market is at all-time record highs? Or is it going to be the low guy or the low girl on the totem pole who's going to end up on the unemployment line? I think it's a no-brainer. You understand? It's always the low guy, the low girl who gets it. The people on the upper end, they laugh. They laugh at this entire thing. You understand? Anyway, look, I really hope that this video has put a perspective on the way things are for you. Now, you can believe St. Louis Fed President Bullard and Larry Kudlow, who both said the recession is over. Well, maybe they are telling the truth. Maybe they're telling the truth that we're now in a depression. Obviously, we know it's the opposite. They want you to believe that we're in a recovery. So do some of our very lofty politicians, and they're lying to you. All of them. Whoever is saying that to you is a liar. Lies come from one place, a very dark place. So you choose what side of the equation you want to be on, the side of light or the side of dark. Up to you. All right, with that said, talking about the whole light and dark thing, I'm going to let you go. Kind of a long video. I hope you share it. I hope it's made sense to you people. It's Friday, so we're going to do what we always do. If you've been with me for years, you know what that is. Are you ready? Love each other, care about each other, and be charitable. So important, people. You and me have the power to change the world by those three things. And it's got to start with someone, so let it start with you and me. You understand? Then it's just going to keep moving on. All right, I'm out of here. See all of you on Sunday. This guy loves you a lot. I'm out of here.